What's going on, geeks and gamers? It is time again for the Saturday Gaming with Geeks podcast. Just like we're here every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, or maybe a couple minutes after. For those of you in the comments already complaining about us being late, make sure I turn that off and mute myself. I am joined with a couple of our regulars and one returning guest. Let's start off with that guest, Ace of Aces. Ace, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Saturday podcast again. I'm having a great time. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for stepping in. Jeremy is not here. Jeremy is just doing whatever the fuck he wants. He's at Universal Studios, just having a good time. Say, why don't you guys make some videos for the main channel? Why don't you make sure you run all this stuff? No worries, Jeremy. We got it. But we are also here with two other members of the Geeks and Gamers team, Lethal Lightning. What's going on?
I'm doing well, thank you. I love these Sunday streams.
Now, it's only Sunday for freaking weirdos. It's not Sunday for us. So
Lethal Lightning's chilling over in the future with Mike Zero.
That's right. Your non-stop source for Star Wars information.
Your information is one way to put what he puts out. Mark the Cyborg, my fellow North American. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing quite well. This is going to be my last episode in this room. On Monday, the movers are coming to pack all my stuff, so I've got to figure out exactly what I'm going to be personally transporting, and then hope that X-Ray Girl and I's new apartment has a decent spot for me to set everything back up. So I'm going to look different next week.
Have you not seen it yet?
No, because of the beer bug, I was not able to go on a house hunting trip, and she entirely picked our apartment. So she has been inside the new place, but I have not. It is about 4 hours away from where I live now. Thank you, X-Ray Girl. I trust you that it's going to be a better room.
There you go. Hopefully you're not lying, X-Ray Girl. That would be a shame. We already have a bunch of people in here. We've got Darkside Droids in the chat. We've got Runner. We got Alex McCarthy, Subhuman. A bunch of awesome people here to hang out. Jeremy's so late that he won't make it. That's right, Schnick. He's not going to be here. He will not make it.
Well, he's been canceled, so I mean.
That's very true. Jeremy has been canceled. He's no longer on Twitter. He says he's loving it, even though he's secretly begging them to let him back on because he can't stand not making fun of people in a public setting. It's basically what Jeremy lives for. I understand his feelings.
Jack Dorsey is behind us in the cancel Jeremy movement.
And speaking of, speak his name 3 times and he shall appear. D-Day Cobra. Fuck Twitter.
Oh, jeez.
Fuck Twitter, says Jeremy. Good to see Jeremy makes an appearance, even though he's probably running around fucking Diagon Alley or some shit right now. But
I've always wanted to go there. Like, I've still never been. I need to go there sometime.
I will say, as much as I generally dislike theme parks, Universal Harry Potter World is pretty awesome. If you're a Harry Potter fan, going there is a really awesome experience. They have it set up in a way that really, like, as much as they possibly could, makes you feel like you're really fucking there.
Right.
Which is awesome. The one in California is kind of trash, but the one in Florida is really good. Really good. All right. But Broba Fett's here too. He says, don't forget me. Hello, Broba Fett. But we got some stuff to talk about. I don't know what 421 Spaceman. So he says Abby is hot. I don't know how many people you're going to.
Cancel him.
The face model actress that plays Abby is pretty attractive. Like, it's just they made her vicious looking in the game.
They did. The body model is like attractive. She's freaking jacked, like a freaking powerlifter, but she's hot. Oh my god. And then Laura Bailey is very attractive. Yeah. So they
the girl who played her face, the girl who played her body, and the girl who does her voice are individually all very attractive, but they just amalgamated them all into a bruiser. I guess that's probably the politest way to put it.
Well, she got something bruised in that scene Lethal showed, that's for sure. Likely her back.
I was more worried for Owen during that scene. He seemed like he was the one that might be getting hurt. That girl squats, I'll tell you that much.
Jeremy says Harry Potter Land is everything Galaxy's Edge should have been. That's true. I will usually choose Universal over Disney. And that they definitely had missed an opportunity with Galaxy's Edge. Guys, don't forget to sub to Park Hop, and Park Hop is going to be going live after this stream. I don't know if they'll have a link available for it, but we'll definitely send you over their way when we're done. But first, we have a couple things to talk about video game related. We might as well just start with basically, I think, kind of the most recent thing we're probably going to talk about, and that's this Far Cry leak that happened yesterday. Whoops, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Where is it? God, I thought I had it fucking pulled up. Oh, here we go. Now, GameSpot. Here it is. All fucked up. All right. GameSpot is where I saw it first. I saw Nibble retweeted. Everybody, the normal crew retweeted it, right? Far Cry 6 has leaked. Stars Giancarlo Esposito and will have free next-gen upgrade. And you can see right here that Ubisoft and Far Cry even acknowledged this by putting out a little teaser afterwards. But we'll go ahead and take a look at what we did know from that leak. A listing for Far Cry 6 has leaked the Hong Kong PlayStation Store, revealing the Breaking Bad star Giancarlo Esposito will appear in the first-person shooter sequel. The listing says this: Far Cry 6 will take place in Yara, which is described as a tropical paradise in need of restoration to its former glory. Its ruthless dictator, Anton Castillo, and his son Diego are on a path to achieving that through any means necessary, igniting a revolution in the region. And it definitely appears to almost, well, they confirmed it later, that Anton Castillo is going to be Giancarlo Esposito's character. You know him from Breaking Bad. A lot of people may know him from The Mandalorian as well. So, guys, what do you think of this leaked information for Far Cry 6?
This lines up with the first set of leaks where they said there was going to be a tropical paradise-type island. So I think all the leaks are true. But what's more interesting is who the child could possibly be.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
They're saying it's like a they're comparing it to Cuba, you know, the tropical island frozen in time. So
Oh yeah, like the Cuba got cut off. For people that don't know, quick history lesson: the embargo for Cuba kind of happened around the 50s, so that's why you'll see a lot of cars from the 1950s and
a lot of classic cars down there.
Yeah. But what Lethal was touching on about the kid is, there we go, that it's most likely Boss from Far Cry 3, who is widely regarded as one of the best video game villains of all time, not necessarily even just Far Cry villains. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The only thing that I'm hoping that I didn't see any information on is that they dropped the level gating that was in New Dawn. I skipped New Dawn entirely because I don't like the idea of being in a Far Cry sandbox, having like a silent sniper rifle and going up to an outpost, taking out a guy in a watchtower, and then it doing like 2 damage and having like a damage number pop up and not being able to kill him with a headshot because it's like, oh, you have a level 25 sniper rifle and this is a level 50 outpost. Sorry. I'm just like, it's a gun, man. I shot the guy in the head. Come on. I thought Far Cry does not lend itself well to that because of how free and open and sandboxy the gameplay is. So that's why I skip New Dawn and hope. Don't worry, Minority Home. It'll be 60 FPS for me because I'll play it on PC. But the level gating is why I would skip it if they're going to bring that back. Because I had a great time with Far Cry 4 and 5, just kind of going through side questing and doing the hunting mini games and things like that. And I skip New Dawn entirely because I don't like that structure, and I hope that they get rid of it for 6.
See, I played New Dawn. I liked a lot of New Dawn. That part didn't necessarily bother me, I guess. I understand the complaint, but I mean, they put you in the sandbox that you have to be, and you just have to kind of play it from there. But the story was interesting in that it was basically you were in Montana, and you were in Montana, and it was like just a cult around this cult leader. And I thought it was interesting. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like how the game ended.
I didn't finish it.
Are you talking about 5 or New Dawn?
Oh, shit. Sorry.
I think he's talking about 5.
Yeah, no. I loved 5, but 5 doesn't have any of the level gating stuff. New Dawn was the kind of standalone DLC for 5 that was kind of its own game. It takes place after 5, so after the ending where things happen that make it kind of a post-apocalyptic setting for New Dawn. I guess the minor spoilers for Far Cry 5. And they had it be, it's kind of like a Mad Max sort of deal. But the level gating made me be like, I don't know. I don't want to deal with that in a Far Cry game. So I never played it. It might be great for all I know. I've had a couple of people tell me the story's pretty good, but I don't really know.
Yeah, so I thought you were talking about the opening up different areas of the map part as I was looking at something else. But yeah, I agree. I didn't play New Dawn because it didn't look like... It kind of reminded me of Uncharted Lost Legacy. Something tacked onto the end that should probably be a DLC that I'm just not fucking interested in.
Yeah.
That's what New Dawn reminded me of. But
yeah, it basically is the same kind of deal. It was like a standalone expansion. So meaning that you don't have to buy Far Cry 5 to be able to play New Dawn, just like you don't have to buy Uncharted 4 to be able to play Lost Legacy. But ultimately they're just like robust DLCs of those games, not really standalone games in their own right.
Absolutely. Liquid Nitrogen, thank you for the super sticker, the popcorn. Appreciate that. Gen X Val says, Ryan advertising cheap beer. Cancel Ryan. I'm just trying to save you money, bro. I don't mind PBR. It's all right. Gun and Wing Zero says Far Cry 5 is all right, and the ending sucked. The ending was like, really? I don't know.
Okay, it subverted my expectation.
It did, yes.
I never finished it. I got to the final area, but I just put the game down because another one came out. And I just still never finished it.
Spoilers for Far Cry 5?
Okay. I don't want to know.
You don't want to know?
No, I do.
Okay,
well, the game's been out for years, so if you haven't played it now,
yeah, I know, but it does like it's enough of a twist ending that I wouldn't want to ruin it for people if, like, say the announcement for Far Cry 6 made them want to go back and play 5. But basically, you take out the leaders of this cult until you find out that they are essentially trying to like cleanse the USA and like basically nuke it essentially. And you attempt to stop the nuking, you fail, and then you wind up in a bunker with Joseph Seed, who's like the cult leader. And then you find out that basically all along he wanted you to be like one of the people to like forge the new world. And like, that's why he made it so that you are safe.
It was kind of like a test for you, basically.
Yeah. And so you can't really win in Far Cry 5. You just sort of survive the apocalypse. And then New Dawn takes place several years afterwards.
So the Terminator storyline, pretty much.
Go to
a bunker, live,
no robots,
become the leader. No robots, but same plot.
Yeah, you survive the apocalypse with the dude who was literally the enemy the entire time and is still the enemy now, but now you're just in a fucking bunker with them. So it was dumb. It was like just subverting your expectations, and it's kind of a Far Cry thing, really, is that even when you finish the game, sometimes you don't really win. Sometimes it's kind of a shitty ending.
I think the funniest thing is Far Cry 4's like happy ending. It's arguably its best ending is just if you don't do anything during the intro. You like basically oh god, I'm forgetting his name. Troy Baker's character.
Yeah.
Who's the villain in Far Cry 4?
Blondie.
Yeah, I'm killing myself for not remembering what his name is because
he was kind of like Troy Baker's now.
Yeah, he was a pretty good character, though. And essentially he says, okay, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Just wait right here. He gets up and leaves. And then Pagan Min, that was it. Schick got it. Schnick got it. But yeah, and Pagan Min basically says, I'll be back in 10 minutes. He gets up and goes to do something. Then you get contacted by the resistance who's kind of going against his clan, you could say, or his gang. And then if you wait for it, your whole deal is you want to be able to get to where your mom wants you to leave her ashes. And if you wait, Pagan Min just takes you right there. And then like you put your mom's ashes where they're supposed to rest. Then he's like, all right, let's go shoot some guns. And then the game ends. Without you ever really firing a shot. Well, it's pretty funny.
So it is going to be interesting to see. I'll go ahead and share. Boom, boom, boom. It's going to be interesting to see if this character, everyone is assuming it is. There's a couple reasons to believe that it is. Our favorite Forbes author, Paul Tassi, did an article about this, about why it's almost certainly a Voss Far Cry 3 prequel. One of the things he points out is that the actor who played Voss a couple weeks ago, I guess, 2 months ago, said this in a Reddit AMA. Thank you so much. Voss is my spirit animal. Having co-created that character is something that will always be dear to me. I still get recognized as him, and I feel the outpouring of love for that character. It makes me very happy. Who knows? Maybe I will reprise the role very soon. Sticking tongue out face. All right. So he dropped a little hint on a Reddit AMA, which could mean anything, could mean nothing. But it is a hint that could definitely be the case. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it for sure is? Do you think everyone's looking into this too hard or what?
I think bet money that it's him.
Yeah. I would
say it is, but I would say obviously we're not sure, but they could turn around on us, make it like Voss's son. I don't know, but I hope it is. They would almost
be silly to be too coy about that and do the J.J. Abrams. Oh, it's not Khan, it's John Harrison thing. Like, I think they should just be like, yeah, this is about Voss's childhood. Just just come right out and say it, I think. And then because I think that even if people did know that, I think if anything, it would hype people up for the game more, not less. Because like I said, Voss is a really well-liked character. Everyone that I can remember having played Far Cry 3 would always talk about how cool Voss was and how, spoiler alert, he's not in the entire game and that the game gets weaker once he exits the proceedings.
He dies about 80% through it, if I remember right.
It's not halfway through the game or anything, but he gets taken out earlier than you'd think he would because he seems like he's the big bad of the game. And everyone go play Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 is good stuff.
I gotta play it again. I don't remember much about it. I definitely gotta play it again.
I bet a lot of people are going to now after this. Just after this announcement, I guarantee there's gonna be a lot of people that go out and buy Far Cry 3. And then Far Cry, after this leaked, they just go ahead and they lean into the meme, they lean into the joke about this leak. Yeah. They say Anton would not be pleased. See you Sunday at #UbiForward. And Ubisoft is doing an event. They're doing a live stream tomorrow. Let's see when it is. Tomorrow. It's going to be at noon Pacific time, where they're probably going to be revealing a lot about Far Cry 6. They're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which we're about to talk about here in a little bit, as well as the new
Watch Dogs.
The new Watch Dogs. And possibly a couple other. I don't really know what else they have in the works. Those are the three big things that I know of.
They still got Siege going, Rainbow Six Siege.
That's true.
And there's always things happening with that. They just keep on adding heroes to that game or operators. But yeah. So are we going to do a react for it?
I don't know if we'll talk about it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not. We'll see what's going on. I know it's early for Lethal too. It's like fucking 4:30 in the morning because he's on this area of the world that no one gives a fuck about right here. So they don't schedule these events around Aussie time.
That's a pretty good area right about there.
But they have New Zealand's here. Christina Nardone for $5 says, "What's everyone's stance on the price increase for AAA games on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X so far?" I'll start. I don't really have a problem with the price hike. I think it's logical, right? As time goes on, inflation goes on, everything's costing a little bit more. It's been the same for 2 generations now, as far as I know. So I don't have a problem with it going up to $69.99 USD. It would be really fucking nice. It's not going to happen. It would be really nice if they hiked the price, but stopped with so many of the microtransactions. We all know that that's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. But I don't know. It just kind of, it's like whatever to me. It makes sense. What do you guys think about it, Lethal?
The games are already $100 here, sometimes more, $100 Australian, mate. So for fuck's sakes, like if they're going to rack up the price again, which you're right, it does make sense. But come on, give us a bone here, man. This is getting out of control. But I'm happy to pay a fair price for for a decent game. But once it's filled with like missing content and microtransactions, I kind of feel like I've been ripped off.
Yeah, 100%. What about yourself, Ace?
All right, here's my take on those games. The price of games has already went up to about $90 to $100 years ago. When they sell the $6 price tag nowadays, you will get like half of the game. They don't get like these season passes that are coming out now. These like where you pay the extra $10, or a good example when they cut a hole out of the game when they charge you an extra $10 for an experience boost or a money boost, kind of like what Ubisoft did. You know, the $60 base price is not the full game. You get a taste of the game, but if you like, and then they, not to mention they got the collector's editions, they got the digital deluxe editions where you pay an extra $30, $40 for. You know, so games have already risen in price when it comes to the full experience of the game. The $6 experience gets you a probably half, maybe 70% of the game. You pay an extra $30, $20, whatever it is, you get the full experience of the game. Season, like not on top of microtransactions, on top of season passes, all that stuff. The games have already went in price years ago. They're just hidden behind these season passes, these microtransactions, all that stuff. So they, I mean, yes, the base, like if they do raise the base price of the game, they really should release the full game. And if a game has microtransactions in it, I mean, don't even get me started on microtransactions. I can't stand those.
Yeah,
that's just my take on it. It's, I don't know if I made any sense, but
well, it makes complete sense, because nowadays when I go in and I get something, and it's like just the base game, they're always pushing the $70 version and the deluxe $100 version, and they're like, oh, look at all this other stuff it comes with. I'm like, nah, just give me the fucking normal game. I completely hear what you're saying. What do you think, Mark?
I mostly am in line with your point, Ryan, where I don't particularly mind the price hike if it means that they're going to cut out some of the extra retail price monetizations, but we all know that that's probably not going to happen. I'm really against the rationales like, oh, well, the game budgets, they double year over year, so, or generation over generation. So if it doubles again, these games are going to need to cost more. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to make them. This actually ties into that article that I sent you of Screen Rant, talking about how, oh, like PS5 games will all be 30 frames a second, but that's okay because that's how we're going to get games that look so impressive and beautiful. And I'm just like, or we could keep the budgets the way they are now, and instead of trying to spend tons and tons of money making good screenshots, just have games look like they did this generation, but run perfectly at like 60 frames a second and above. Because we could do that. It wouldn't involve any more money because it's just the same budget games running at higher settings, running in a more stable fashion without frame hitches and glitches and with better control. But people will... the normie gamers just want to see like really nice screenshots or like a trailer on broadcast TV that looks impressive to them. And I don't know, the whole thing bothers me because it's like, guys, games don't have to cost $400 million to make. You can like, there's plenty of great indie studios that are making amazing games for like,
absolutely,
dozens of thousands of dollars, not hundreds of millions. So,
dozens of thousands.
Thousands. It's a real number.
Tens of thousands, dozens of thousands.
Dozens of thousands.
Sure, yeah. Well, okay, what's the difference between 20,000 and 24,000? Like,
you never hear anyone say dozens of thousands. That's the difference. But that was an interesting way to put it.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm weird, guys. I'm a really weird guy.
Yeah, I think that, you know what, we don't want to fucking pay more for this shit. I think the reality is that we will. The only thing is, if we as people decide that's gotten too much, we're not going to buy it, and we don't buy it, then they'll stop increasing the prices. They'll stop it with some of the microtransactions. But as long as
that'll never happen,
right? As long as people continue to buy it, continue to consume, it's never going to stop. And to be perfectly honest, if I was running a games company and it turned out that if I raised my prices $10 and could increase my profits this much, and I'd have this amount of people that wouldn't do it, yeah, I'd probably raise them too. Like, it just, unfortunately, with people continuing to pay for it, it makes sense for these companies to go ahead and raise the price, because we might put up a little bit of a fuss, but the majority of people are still going to play. Yeah. And that's just the reality.
You gotta remember, there's more than one number on the earnings reports. You got the base price of the game, which they rarely report, and then they got the microtransactions and the season pass, They say, okay, we made this game for $500 million, but we only made $200 million on the sales of the game. Okay, got it. So let me see your microtransaction. Like if you have a season pass, you have microtransactions, you have all that stuff. Show me that number. EA is a prime example. They can make a new Madden they just copy and paste it every year. We all know and just update the roster. They can do that for, that's probably inflated 100 million. But they're making billions off these loot boxes in these packs, and that's a completely separate number.
Stuff. There's individual players that they can make $500 off the price of one FIFA game.
Yep. And so again, they are making money off their games. Maybe not selling the game itself, whether it's a disc or the digital, but those companies who have all those microtransactions, they are making way more in microtransactions alone. Just,
also, let's call it what it is, too. If anyone wants to be games need to pay more so that developers stop getting laid off, and the developers need more money because they work really hard and they have to deal with crunch. The developers aren't getting the extra $10 per game. Okay, guys, it's the publishers. It's the executives and the shareholders that are going to be benefiting from that, not the people on the ground actually making the games. So, I'm not saying that there would be zero benefit to them that if the companies have more money to kick around, but I don't think it's going to be preventing layoffs to just be seeing an extra $10 from the odd player. Because I guarantee you, as many people that will willingly pay the $10, there's now 5 people that will just wait for a sale because they're like, okay, well, I might have bought 3 games this month, but with that costing me an extra $30, I'm going to now buy 2 games and then wait till that third one goes on sale 6 months later.
Remind me, I can't remember what studio it was, but there was a studio that laid off hundreds of employees. And right after that, they gave their CFO or their COO a $10 million.
Yeah, that was Activision.
Activision, yeah, that's who it was. Yep. And that's what you get. Activision's a prime example when it comes to microtransactions
games too, right?
Yeah, well, I'm starting to now remember. Was it Activision or was it specifically Blizzard? Because I remember there were a lot of layoffs going on at Blizzard as well, which I got to be careful what I say because I have a friend that works at Blizzard and he luckily enough dodged the layoffs. But I remember it being a pretty scary time for a bunch of people that work there. And then when you then hear Bobby Kotick gets a massive bonus at the end of the year.
That's what I'm getting to.
They actually had year-over-year record profits. It's record profits, but they still didn't hit our targets. So
these extra costs for these games, like you said, the employees don't see it. They all go to the publisher. They all go to the CEOs, the CFOs, all those executives up there, and it's I don't know.
Yeah. Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $4.99. Price hike doesn't affect me. I'm just going to walk into GameStop, start kicking stuff and yelling, "It's ma'am!" and I get free copies. That is lucky for you, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. I think we need somebody to walk in there and just say, "It's Abby," and just do the same thing. It might be interesting. Maybe we'll see that on YouTube. Thank you, Blue-Eyed Scorpio. And then Christina with another super chat says, Valve or CD Projekt Red?
CDPR.
2 that are dear to my heart.
I agree.
Yeah, CDPR for sure.
Yep, same.
So because the DRM free is the magic, the special sauce there. Because your digital purchases are never more protected than if you buy your games on GOG, because you just flat out own those digital files the way you would if it was a pirated game. You can infinitely reproduce them, copy them, back them up on every USB key that you have if you want, and they're never going to go away. But Valve, as much as I love Steam and have a gigantic Steam library and play probably most of my games on Steam because most of them just aren't on GOG. If Valve goes out of business and their servers get shut down, I'm pretty much stuck with whatever Steam games I have installed on my computer.
Yeah. But thank you for the super chat. I think it's going to be a sweep for CD Projekt Red for us. But speaking of Ubisoft, speaking of Far Cry 6, we had another leak. It's not a Ubisoft game if it doesn't have a leak. And we had one for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. 30 minutes of uninterrupted gameplay was leaked online. Now, we don't know when that was made. We don't know what level of production that was made. We don't know if this is what they were supposed to show, what they're going to show, on Sunday. I doubt it. I hope not anyway, because it was not very impressive.
That would just insult all the viewers too, because those who know Assassin's Creed, like, okay, what is this? Is this really what you're going to give us? What is this, Odyssey? You know, I mean, 'cause I don't think they're dumb enough to show that footage. You know, it's Ubisoft. They have a polished footage up, make it look all pretty, and they got something better than what that looks like. That's just my opinion, though.
It's going to be Odyssey with Vikings, guys.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
There's no way it was ever going to be anything other than that. Just like, I mean, ultimately, as well, I know Ryan's a pretty big fan of Odyssey, but fundamentally, Odyssey was Origins in Greece. Like Assassin's Creed just does this. They have a revolution where the games kind of change for a little bit, and then they're all like that for a little while, and then they change them a bit again, and then they're all like this for a little while. So I think we're only going to see a big change in the Assassin's Creed franchise if Valhalla tanks or if the one after it tanks.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think that like seeing this gameplay, I expected it to be like Odyssey. It's basically exactly like Odyssey from the trigger mechanics and everything to do like the special, you know, your special abilities and all that. It did not look at all polished in any way, shape, or form. Looked very glitchy. Maybe it was just the quality of the video that we saw, but the fighting just didn't look smooth. It didn't even look as smooth as it is in Odyssey, which is still fucking glitchy as hell at times. I think all of us kind of expected it to look like Odyssey, but the main complaints with the Assassin's Creed fandom has been, we don't like that it's going so RPG. You know, we don't like that you're just trying to be an RPG. You're getting rid of the stealth. So it's going to be interesting with Valhalla if they go back to any stealth elements, because we saw none in that leaked gameplay. It was all just straight RPG. There was no stealth elements involved. Are they going to kind of help appease those people? Or are they just going to go full bore RPG? And if they do go full bore RPG, it needs to be better than it is in Odyssey. It needs to be a little more meaningful, all these missions. Now, they specifically said we're trying to shrink this game a little bit because Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you get caught up doing those side quests easily over 100 hours. Not even more than that, to be quite honest with you. I put over 100 hours in that game. The most recent save that I overrode, I had more than 100 hours in it, didn't even come close to beating it. Like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a massive fucking game. Valhalla, they told us they want to shrink it down and refine the RPG. That's what I want to see on Sunday. I want us to show something that says it's not just exactly the fucking same.
I see Ladies Man 727 in the chat seems to be kind of harping on the point that RPG means more choice. That can be true, but it depends on what kind of RPG you're talking about. Are you talking about the kind of RPG where you grind experience and just eventually can overlevel yourself above combat encounters that you can then go in and kill people that were destroying you in one hit? Or are you talking about the kind of cyberpunk or like Deus Ex style RPG where you can just approach a situation in any way that you like? Because I think Assassin's Creed would really, really benefit from having choices in how you approach the actual missions. So make it so that even if there's a level where there's a big battle, you could get on the ground and fight it out in the battle and be a combatant alongside the rest of your Viking troops, or sneak around the battle and find the enemy commander and just stealth kill him. Because I think that Assassin's Creed is moving in a way where it's just, they want you fighting in those big, large scale battles. They don't want you deciding like, okay, I'm going to sneak around on the rooftops and then like take people out the way you would in an Assassin's Creed game. I don't know, like it is in the title, right? But
Odyssey and Origins, that they forced you into those big old battles. Like, hey, complete this area to complete this conquest. You're in a big old battle where it's like hundreds of friggin' NPCs that are in there. So
and I remember the first few Assassin's Creed games, namely like 1, 2, Brotherhood, and maybe a little less so in Revelations, which I think was the third in the Ezio trilogy.
Yeah, those were mostly endgame though.
Mm-hmm. The focus, the big
was battles were endgame.
Yeah, I was saying the focus though in those games was primarily on stealth, and every single one of them was about a target, and you had to find that target any way you would like. There would usually be a few ways to do it. And you've at least felt like you had a decent degree of freedom. But I didn't really feel a whole lot of freedom when I was playing Origins. I didn't finish it. I got pretty far in it, probably maybe 30, 40 hours in. I just kind of got bored of it after a while, and that's why I skipped Odyssey. But I don't know. It's weird to see that it seems like Assassin's Creed is not even a stealth game anymore.
It's not.
Like that was kind of the deal. Like,
Yeah, that is pretty
it's a
good.
fantasy RPG now, especially with other microtransactions they got going on. I mean, you can get flaming horses, you can get unicorns. You know, you can look like Athena. You can look like, you know, Artemis. Like it's just like some of the stuff they do with those things. Like that good example that Atlantis DLC that was an Odyssey. That was a little too fantasy for me. I mean, granted, it is, but I don't know. I think it's a fantasy RPG now. That's what it is.
Yeah, Brobafed knows. Bring back Splinter Cell. Yeah. So
What were you gonna say?
Give Michael Ironside some work.
I was just going to say, I've never really been a big Assassin's Creed guy, but to me, it always looked like a stealth game, and now it just looks like another RPG game.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Schnick says, with a rare serious comment from Schnick, I think a true RPG is about choice and consequence. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has RPG elements, but I wouldn't call it an RPG. I agree. It's like they give you this appearance of choice, but there's not really any consequence to the choices that you make necessarily. Other than, I suppose, getting to like fuck a woman or some shit like randomly because you use the little thing with the heart next to it that has like no effect on the fucking story. But yeah, I agree.
A little funny dialogue. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Pauly D for €5. Did you guys see the Half-Life Alyx Final Hours documentary? Very interesting behind the scenes in Valve. Many scrapped versions of Half-Life 3 were made.
I have not watched that yet. That's Jeff Keighley, the Game Awards guy. I think he did a few sort of exposés about Half-Life Alyx, like that Valve would be collaborated with him on. So he got a lot of like insider access. I'd like to check it out. I played Half-Life Alyx and I loved it. Like it's really good. But if it wasn't for Doom Eternal, I'd probably say Half-Life Alyx would be like it and Doom Eternal are kind of neck and neck for my game of the year. Doom Eternal being just like a really solid traditional shooter, but Half-Life Alyx is probably one of the most unique game experiences I've had, like arguably ever. It was that good. So I'd really like to watch that documentary, and thank you for reminding me about it.
Yeah. And then Pauly D says, favorite Assassin's Creed game? Probably would have to be Black Flag.
Black Flag or Rogue, one of the maritime or
Caribbean I'll disagree. Black Flag was not an Assassin's Creed game. It was probably the best pirate game you can play, but that was not an Assassin's Creed game. It may have the title, but that was not an Assassin's Creed game. That was the best pirate game ever, though. My favorite was 2. I never
played the first one.
Oh, the first one was. Ooh.
I didn't even finish it. I thought it was pretty bad. It kind of like ruined the whole franchise.
It was repetitive. It was great for the open worldness of its time. The graphics were great. Everything was great. But it was every chapter, every part of that game was beat somebody up, listen to them, and follow them all the way through for 9 assassinations. But my favorite was 2 because they improved off the first one with better mechanics. So I thought 2 was the best one when it comes to story. Ezio was my favorite assassin. I was hoping to like Connor for 3, but they ruined that character. I love 3 for its setting, Revolutionary War period. It was great. The snow.
Connor was very different from Ezio, but I liked him. I think, though, I probably would take Brotherhood over 2. It seems like an odd choice, but I think
Brotherhood was a massively great polished of 2, but I think like story-wise 2 was a little bit. I think Ezio's character development was.
I think it was Desmond that got more to do in Brotherhood, and that's what I think. Liked about it, that like they actually like really pushed the modern day storyline forward in Brotherhood, like to the point that you could even have a bunch of sequences where you're playing as Desmond doing assassin stuff because the memories of being Altair and Ezio were kind of seeping into him and giving him skills. And that's why like 3 was so disappointing at the end. It's like, why did you drop that story? You were creating such a cool
it was dumb. And then with Black Flag, they brought in
just been asking for too much money, and they're just like, we got to kill Desmond. We can't afford no anymore.
And then Black Flag, their real life character was like an unnamed employee at Abstergo. He's just going. I didn't like that.
Yeah, the modern day stuff past 3 was useless.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that's lacking with it a lot. Is even though like I can't say I ever wanted to get out of the Animus and be Desmond, but at least in the first, 4 Assassin's Creed games, you're sitting there and like Desmond means something. Desmond has a story too. Now it's just nothing. The outside world means nothing. However, it should be noted that in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, in that leaked footage, there was a button specifically for exit out of the Animus, on like appearing on the screen, which I thought was interesting. I don't think that doesn't appear right now on Odyssey. You have to go into the menus. I don't even know if you can just back out anytime you want, to be honest with you. I have to play a little more of it to find out. I don't even remember.
I'm pretty sure in Origins you could. It's just there wasn't much to do outside.
Yeah, there was nothing to do on the outside.
Right.
I mean, there was some collectibles to collect in between chapters, and if you exit the Animus to go get them. But other than that, it was
this girl running around in a cave. That's kind of all I remember about being outside the Animus.
So I remember when Assassin's Creed first came out with the whole Desmond story. Like, everyone thought it was going to start with the Crusades, then it went into the Italian Renaissance, and then it went into the American Revolution. Then we thought it was going to get to a modern day, like 2015 New York, open world where it's Desmond actually playing, and that's how his story would close out. But the way they did it was just dumb. I mean, everyone was hoping for that modern day Assassin's Creed, whether in New York, Los Angeles, wherever, where he's just climbing up buildings, jumping over like real modern day cities. But they didn't take it that way.
That's what I think that what they should have done is after 3, they should have done that one modern Assassin's Creed game where you're playing as Desmond, and then just closed out the story and then gone back and do a pirate game, do things that are like obviously spiritual successors to the Assassin's Creed. But the problem is Ubisoft can't let their IP names go. That's why Rainbow Six Siege wasn't just a new tactical shooter. It had to be Rainbow Six, and why Ghost Recon Wildlands had to be Ghost Recon Wildlands. It couldn't just be new open world military game. Like they're just tied to their IPs, and it's tiring at times.
Yeah, I mean, they know it sells. I mean, if you're gonna say, hey, we're gonna make this game, just this random game, people might not buy it, but if you put Assassin's Creed on it, you're going to have a built-in player base that will at least pay attention to it, even if they don't buy it. Mm-hmm. Let's get here. All right, I read that one already. Another one from Paulie says, for Half-Life 3, they apparently tried procedurally generated environments, but it wouldn't click, and they had a lot of trouble with the source engine.
Procedurally generated environments are they're tricky. Like you can get those right. For example, actually, I picked it up because a bunch of my friends have been playing it, but I haven't actually got around to playing Deep Rock Galactic yet. But that has 3D procedurally generated environments that are apparently quite good. But I don't know if I would want a Half-Life game generated that way.
That's what No Man's Sky does too, right? The procedurally generated.
But their whole thing is like, well, there's like 1 million planets, so if you don't like this area, you can just fly and go to another one. But Half-Life is like all about being a very specific sort of like linear story. At least all 3 of the mainline Half-Life games. So far.
I'm probably the only person in the world who's never played Half-Life.
Oh, so I should get on that.
I need to, but I've never played one. So when people talk about Half-Life 3, I'm like, I don't know.
I've played them, but I've never finished any of them.
Oh, guys. Go for it. Do it.
Yeah, I need to. I really do.
Paulie D with another €5 says customers are too willing to hand over top dollar for a reskin game each and every year for developers to make better and more polished content. Yeah, I mean, we've been talking. That was a little bit about what we've talked about today. With the increase in prices and everything like that, all kind of ties in. We talked about Madden's practices and EA's practices. I don't know if we talked about it on stream or before we went live, but honestly, it's the same way Ubisoft has been with Assassin's Creed for a long time. And that's why there's hope for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because they took an extra year in between. However, we're going to have to wait and see what they have in store for us tomorrow at this presentation to see if they can change our minds a little bit about this gameplay after what we saw leaked just simply wasn't very impressive.
Speaking of not impressive, did you see the UFC 4 trailer?
I watched you and Lyndon talk about it a little bit. I was editing a video. It's a UFC game. Like,
oh no, this looked bad.
How bad is that?
Looked like PlayStation 2 Mortal Kombat.
Does it look like Black Panther?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It's tough to get a control scheme for jujitsu that makes sense. You can make a fighting game where people are punching and kicking each other, but like grappling is so hard to transfer to like an interface that feels anything like what you should be doing.
I'm gonna send you a screen cap I took, just so you can see how bad it actually looked.
As Lethal's sending that, Paulie sends another super chat. It says, modern day Desmond, hot dog stands and dumpsters to be the haystacks.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Just huge piles of trash.
He just jumps right in.
Piles of trash bags that you jump in to hide. This would be pretty good.
I think it would have been cool if they made it so that the assassins had like advanced their technology and did things like Halo drop parachutes so that they could do low opening and then like actually break their momentum so that they could survive just jumps from the top of skyscrapers in New York and just land on the ground. But they never made the game, so who
knows? Anyone know what happened to Watch Dogs 3? It was supposed to release back in March. I think we're going to get news about that at this Ubisoft presentation. Yep. Should get some information about it.
I have not liked a Watch Dogs game yet, so I'm not banking on that being appealing to me. I'm sure there are plenty of Watch Dogs fans. I know 2 had a really good following, but not my kind of game.
Well, that's what happens to the face after you get kicked, I guess.
Looks like plastic.
Yeah,
it looks like a really bad episode of Wallace and Gromit.
And this isn't even gameplay. This is like cinematic shit, right?
Mostly. Gameplay. It kind of looked gameplay-ish, but it was very cinematic. It did not look good.
It's Broke Neck Lady.
I'm getting a lot of "Is that Abby" in the chat.
The Broke Neck Lady. Was that a Haunting of Hill House reference? It's a good one.
Abby, Abby's gonna be a DLC character in UFC 4. You can just beat the shit out of her.
What would an intro song be?
Abby's?
Yeah. It's easy. It's Protect Your Neck.
There you go. So that's UFC 4. It's not something that's interesting to me. I played UFC 2. I didn't play 3. It is hard, like Mark said. I don't feel like they do a good job of whenever I play that. If I play with anybody that fucking knows how to grapple, I just get destroyed. Because I just it takes a lot of getting used to figure out how to grapple in that game. And so what mostly turned out as you just stand there and kick and punch people. But
yeah, I want them to make another Fight Night game. Fight Night Round 3 is still one of the best fighting games I've ever played, and it was on the original Xbox, and it looked great. Like they could actually just re-release Fight Night Round 3 for modern systems, and I think it would look awesome.
So we've talked a little bit about the increasing price in games and things like that. Let's talk a little bit about digital sales because something interesting is happening on the PlayStation Network store. Mark, you were talking about this. I think Bellular News did a video about it. What can you tell us about your digital library on PSN?
Yeah, it seems like Bellular is the only one that was reporting on it. Ryan was saying he was trying to track down another source. So I guess take the validity of this with a grain of salt. We're reporting on this as rumor for the time being. But apparently people have been losing access to some of their digital purchases on PSN with no results at all when they call Sony customer service and try to get it resolved. And that is very scary for Sony going into the PS5 generation because, as you guys may have heard on the announcement, they have an all-digital version of their console. So it's not going to stoke a lot of consumer confidence if you buy an all-digital version of a console, knowing that there's a possibility that your purchases might just be lost to the ether and just have no way to access your games, including your single-player games. My stance on it is that I like digital purchases, and I think for the most part they are quite secure. But again, as I was touching on about CD Projekt's GOG, I think digital rights management free digital purchases are the way forward. That's the only way that we can really be 100% certain that our digital purchases will be actually safe, because if servers shut down, you won't be able to re-download your games. But what do you guys think?
I think that in general, that's a scary, like, I see something coming down the line in the next couple of years, maybe accelerated with everything going on right now, where it may not be some like market play to get more money. It might be like the idea that I'm playing a game and I say a bad word in voice chat, and all of a sudden I get banned from playing Ubisoft games ever again, and they remove all of the digital games that I've ever bought for it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Literally, we can't have you. We don't want a person like you playing our game. So anything that you've bought, you're now no longer allowed to play that because I'm taking away your digital license to play it. And that's a little bit different scenario, but it's something that I've looked at coming down the line. And I think that's realistically going to start happening in today's society. And things like that, especially in the lead up to PlayStation offering a full digital console. It's pretty concerning. I always buy physical. I'm the opposite of you, Mike. I always buy physical, mostly because I like to be able to sell my shit on eBay after I'm done instead of turn it back into GameStop for $1. But I don't know. What do you think, Lethal?
It's very concerning. Very, very, very concerning. I've been buying a little bit more digital. I think like the last 2 games I bought were digital because, sometimes, it just worked out I wouldn't be able to get the game the day that came out because of work or whatever, or I can just have it install overnight so I can get up and play it straight away. But that's a scary thought. Like Ryan said, I could be playing Call of Duty, get into an argument with a 12-year-old kid, say something inappropriate about his mother, and then that's it. I just lose access to all my Activision's games. That's pretty nasty, man. And I think it opens up for a lot more hacking as well into your consoles.
Yep.
Well, just on the oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was just going to bring up the counterpoint on because I see a lot of people in the chat saying no, physical is absolutely the way to go. The one thing to keep in mind about physical copies today, and this is not the same as physical copies in like the PlayStation 1 generation or Super Nintendo when everything was physical, obviously, but that was actually a full 1.0 version of the game, and 1.0 is the only version that ever happens.
Yeah.
Now, you got to remember that the discs that are like behind Ace in his room there, those are all the 1.0 versions of that software, including that copy of No Man's Sky. That's probably an absolute piece of trash if you just install
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, you saw it. Oh, no, right.
It just as you moved your head. Perfect example right there. That is the version of No Man's Sky that sucks.
Yeah. And all the upgrades are all digital. So yeah, if I were to delete all the upgrades and lose access to all those upgrades, I get the shitty version of No Man's Sky.
Also, especially with the PlayStation 5 SSD, that most like the console people that will often argue with me and be like, oh, console's actually better than PC because blank will say, oh, that SSD is unlike anything that a PC can do right now. It'll be like, okay. But then they might still say, yeah, and you can buy physical games. So like, with that SSD, you're not actually running anything at all off that disk. Every single bit of information that you're running that game is installed to that SSD, and it's all running off there, or the super magic speed that you're getting from the SSD you can't utilize that. It's not like the SSD somehow magically makes the Blu-ray drive faster. So ultimately, you're all playing the digital versions of the game anyways. All the discs are is an install disc for the 1.0 version only. So if Sony removes your account, you are also removing your ability to get online and download the updates that will actually make that game fix its problems, make it complete, be able to run it, because you'll have to log in with a PSN account. And you could say, oh, well, you can just create a new PSN account. It's like, well, I mean, I guess you could say the same for digital games too, but I'm like,
yeah, it's a good point.
It's just it's worth considering in the argument. I'm not saying that means, okay, for sure physical games are worse, but just always remember that physical games aren't magically perfect. They have their share of issues. Not to mention they can get stolen or broken, which digital purchases can't.
Well, unless it's by Sony.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, they could steal your entire system, I guess. You can always re-download.
Unless it's what we're talking about when the digital licenses are just disappearing.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think, Ace?
See, me, I'm a physical. I love having my library. I got a few behind me, but I have a whole another one like on my bookshelf right there. But yeah, I agree. Like Mark said, they are the 1.0 versions. Now, if they were able to somehow upgrade the discs to where every time I plug in the disc, it upgrades the disc as well. Not plug in, put in the disc, it upgrades the disc as well. And I still have that content, then that'd be great, but that's not going to happen.
It's like they start using rewritable DVDs, and that's why the PS5 is going to be so expensive, because it's actually a DVD burner as well.
Yep. That'd be nice, but obviously it's not going to happen. But so I mean, I understand the need for digital. And if I ever do lose rights to the update, like Destiny, I'm a huge Destiny player. If I plug in the Destiny disc if I put in the Destiny disc behind me, I get the vanilla version of D2, which was complete garbage, but then I lose out on everything that's been going on for the last 3 or 4 years. But I don't know. I like my libraries. That's what I like, but I can understand the reason for digitals coming up now.
I'm the same. I'm very much a physical guy. I like having a collection of all that type of stuff as well. But just the way things are moving, it's becoming more and more digital, which also kind of sucks, because over here our internet speeds are laughably bad. So downloading a game can sometimes be a legit all-night thing for me, which is why the pre-downloading, like the day before the game comes out, like thank you for that.
I think Ghost of Tsushima is downloadable now.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of people who putting up. They're like, I'm preloading Ghost of Tsushima a week in advance.
Yeah, it's true. For me, like, I do like having the games there and sitting there looking at them. I also honestly just like the idea that I can fucking sell it on eBay to some schmuck who wants to pay $2 less than they would at GameStop. You know what I mean? And I just send it to him. Mm-hmm. I say schmuck very kindly. Please buy my stuff on eBay. But
remember, you can't share them. I can't grab my copy of The Last of Us, the first one, Ryan. I know you like part 2, but I can't give you the first copy. Like, hey, borrow this. You can download it and play it digitally. You can't do that.
I can give you my entire GOG library if you wanted me to. If you have digital DRM free purchases they're no different than a pirated copy of a game. The only thing that is stopping them from just wrecking their sales is because CD Projekt has a service that's that good and offers it to us essentially without strings. I don't ever abuse it because I want them to keep doing that.
Well, that's you though. You have to think of other people to where, regardless, CD can say, yeah, support us. Like you said, I don't know if we talked this on stream or off stream. You said that they will. You tell them, hey, you buy this game from us, we will do. It will help us create a second one. But they've tried stuff like that before. Well, you pay.
Okay, do you not steal things from a grocery store because you think that you're going to get caught, or just because you're not the type of person that would just steal stuff?
I'm just not the type of person to steal stuff.
And I think that
I don't want to get caught.
I think that most grown adults are on the point of I'm not going to steal things that I could very well pay for and support the businesses that I'm patronizing.
I totally fucking disagree with you that most people are that way.
That is I disagree too. Well, if they can get a game for free, I mean, they do it with movies. I mean, they're not going to go to a movie, a cinema. Deadpool, I think when that first came out, that was the worst one that was pirated for a while because people say, oh, I love the movie, but I got it pirated. I didn't have to pay $60 to watch it. That's what people will do. I mean, you can be the most honest person ever, but if you see a $60 game that's for free, of hell, drinking Assassin's Creed, hey, I want to try Assassin's Creed, but I don't want to pay for it. What can you do for me? Oh, here's a pirated copy.
Well, but I mean, then in that case, then why isn't every single game that's on GOG instantly impossible to steal and super easy to get pirated? Because I mean, realistically, there's no security measures at all. It's just the digital copy is yours, and you can do with it what you want. You can put it on your Google Drive. You can email it to your friends. You do anything you want with it. But people don't do it because they like the service and they want it to keep going.
I
think people do it. You just don't hear about it.
I didn't even know you could do that. I have a GOG account. I didn't even know you could just share it with anybody. I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah, it's a DRM free copy. There's no digital right there.
The example you're setting up would basically be so to me, if I walk into a store and they just have a fucking stack of video games there, and they're like, here you go. Now, if you want to help us grow this grocery store, please consider, paying us more for it. But also, here it is. I guess you can do whatever you want with it.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of stuff online that's pay what you want. You know that. Like, that's basically what Humble Bundle is. Humble Bundle, pretty much all of them are pay what you want bundles, where you can give $1 and get like a few games, or they have it so that if you pay $5, you get a few more games. But you technically, realistically, you don't have to give any more than that. People just do because they do things like, there's also a share that goes to charity, and there's reasons for people to want to actually support them. And I think that I am more in support of good services that trust the consumer and want us to support them because they offer us a good product, rather than tying up all sorts of DRM stuff like the original announcement of the Xbox One style. Like, you have to be online to play your single player games.
You can't
share
games,
why? It's like,
then
we won't know if you've stolen it unless we can verify that you've actually bought the game that you're playing every 10 seconds. I would much prefer to be like, or I could buy this game from GOG and just have it forever, infinitely replicatable, able to share with my friends if I want to. To me, that I'd rather support that. Yeah, maybe I'm more trustworthy, but because I don't pirate games. But I
mean, in a perfect world, that's great. But even the most honest person, my opinion, if they were to find a game that was free versus paying $60 for it, they test it out first by getting the free one. Maybe if they like the game, maybe they'll go out and pay full price for the non-pirated version. But
what you're describing is a demo, and those exist.
Mark is a cyborg, and he's not programmed to understand anything that's not altruistic in nature. So you can't imagine these people that are just going to take free shit out there.
I'm not saying nobody would abuse the system. I'm saying the people who don't would outnumber the people who do.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But I think opening it up more like that would raise the numbers of piracy. I mean, it's not a perfect world.
I think it would also get more people trying more different types of games and would then result in more sales overall. But we wouldn't really know until it actually happens.
Right. I mean, didn't they try that with a Panera Bread? They opened a Panera Bread and said, hey, come in, pay what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it ended up failing in a week or two or something like that. It was just come in, pay 5 cents, pay $5, pay $500. Everyone's coming in. And then
people just running out there with fucking garbage bag full of bread.
I don't think people value bread the same way they value.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying it's a good.
I'd pay more for a video.
It's a way to think about,
Oh, yeah, that's my point.
So can I get a $5 video game pirated, or should I pay full price for the same game but from the developer?
Well, I mean, and I think a lot of people would be like, if they like the game, they will pay full price from the developer or wait for a sale if they can't afford the full price. Because, like I said, CD Projekt's kind of the one in question because they're the one with the DRM-free store. I'm sure there's plenty of people that will buy Cyberpunk even if they have the option of pirating it because they want there to be a Cyberpunk 2. They want there to be DLCs. And that's not going to happen if everyone just pirates it. If everyone just pirates it, the whole company's going to go out of business and they're never going to make another game.
All right. Well, let me be clear. I'm not saying everybody's going to pirate if they open it. I mean, I'm just saying it'll definitely raise the numbers. But majority of people will be honest and, buy them outright like they're supposed to. But I think making it all free like that will raise the numbers.
But it's not all free. It's like that. That's the thing. It's like, no. You still do have to pay for the game. It's just once it's yours, you can do what you want with it.
Yeah, but you pay $60, but you distribute it to 20 people. How much money is that lost on the developer side?
Well, you have to ask yourself that if you're going to be the person that sends the game to 20 people. That's what I mean. It's a choice on the consumer's end, not on the seller.
Well, speaking of Mark, I'll make sure I give you my email after this. See what you got in your GOG library. But we got a couple questions here from Christina. Last question: Nintendo or Valve?
Valve.
Yeah, I'm going Valve too.
I haven't really been a Nintendo player since the Dreamcast, so
fuck Nintendo. We're going Valve.
I like Nintendo's first party games, but I think the Steam I get a lot more use out of than the Nintendo eShop. I'll tell you that much.
I'll tell you what, I actually have some Nintendo news for you guys today that we'll get to. That I didn't realize until just a little before the stream, but we'll talk about it a little. A little hint, something Jeremy would be really excited about. Darkside Droids for $5. Mark, if Valve shut down, the games would just play offline, wouldn't they? Obviously, online games would be unavailable, but you'd still own the games, no?
I don't know. I'm not sure how they would do it because as it is now, you need to check in with Steam every 30 days, I believe, in order to play games in offline mode. You can, it's not really difficult, but I think that if it's been more than 30 days, you might start having issues. So I'm assuming that if Valve was going to go out of business, they would probably just download an update to Steam and make it say like, okay, so now the 30 days offline mode thing is gone. Download your games while you can because we're shutting them off in 2 weeks. But the scarier thing would be if they just hard plug pulled, like hacked and down.
Yeah.
Have you tried appearing offline?
Look, listen.
I'll try appearing offline right now.
It doesn't stop it.
I'm not here to converse, man.
Not here to conversate. Thank you, Dogside Joyce, for that super chat. I have no idea. Common Sense America, $4.99. We need another Twisted Metal style game of vehicle combat where you buy vehicles and upgrade them over time.
I feel like there was a vehicle based battle royale that was trying something like that.
Well, we just saw that
the PlayStation one.
Yeah, we just saw that PlayStation one with like people outside. I don't really understand how that game works, but looks something like somewhat interesting. It doesn't look like Twisted Metal for sure, but looks like it could be something where you kind of do that and upgrade your car and shit. Pauly D for €2. Gabe Logan.
Easy question.
Gabe Logan versus Sam Fisher versus Solid Snake. Who wins?
Anyone want to field this first?
I don't know who Gabe Logan is.
I'm a Metal Gear Solid guy, so I'm going Solid Snake.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that's not even really a question. I don't think either, but I don't know.
Well, Gabe Logan and Sam Fisher have never fought against a cyborg ninja or like a giant mecha that can launch a nuclear warhead. Solid Snake has.
Yeah.
Or Psychic, or a giant Inuit guy with a machine gun that's like strapped to a jet engine on his back.
What did you think of what was the most recent Metal Gear Solid?
Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom
Yeah.
Pain. Gameplay was incredible. Story was kind of interesting. It was not handled very well, and the format of the game, like the structure of it, made it a lot more difficult to really get into the story the way you could with the other Metal Gear games.
I agree.
But, I liked it overall. I thought the
liked it.
Box was great.
Yeah, I liked it, but it was so hard to get into it without David Hayter. I mean, without David Hayter as Snake,
That's true.
It was hard to play, but I eventually started liking. I love the open world aspect of it, but like you said, there are parts of the game where it's hard to get into the story. But I mean, if I had to rate it, I'd give it like a 7.
It was God, who the guy who plays Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland, right?
A Canadian treasure.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland was his voice. Yeah, I completely agree about how that the story of that fucking game just completely derailed because of how much extra shit they fucking put in it. Yeah. I also didn't like I felt like I was constantly going back to these cities that I'd fucking cleared out and having to fucking clear them out again for different shit, which pissed me the fuck off. But the gameplay was cool. I really enjoyed it, but the story is just really hard to get into.
Yeah, greatest thing was setting people up with the balloons. That was great. Or dogs, or like
all that stuff was in Peace Walker. Actually, the PSP one. That if you play Peace Walker, it was sort of very clearly the prototype for Metal Gear Solid 5. But I thought that it was the structure is what made it weirdest. The Fox engine was incredible though. Like there's a game that on PS4 and Xbox One ran at a silky 60 frames a second. It was a huge open world. Yeah, we're still seeing 30 frames a second games on freaking PS5, and
Yeah, I just forgot you could just fucking knock motherfuckers out and set them up on a balloon.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want this guy back at my base.
Yeah. Kidnap motherfuckers.
And I had what was the name of the girl?
Quiet.
Yeah, I want to say
she saw her amount of controversy with the whole you're womanizing, blah blah blah. You're whatever.
She was cool.
She was awesome. I loved Quiet.
The perfect trait in a fucking woman.
The best story mission in the game is Quiet's last one, and like that, like it is kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of had a episodes of a TV show format to it, less than the other Metal Gear games, which are just like a movie. And the Quiet's last mission is kind of the best episode of the show. It takes a while to get there. You have to do a lot of side content to even get to that mission. But once you get there, her arc is pretty solid.
She has an amazing arc. Yeah.
Paulie D says, hello, Gabe Logan fought a man with full Kevlar.
I mean,
fuck your mechs with nuclear weapons.
Cyborg ninjas. Guys, come on.
And then Paulie D says, Peace Walker was da bomb. Fulton everybody.
Yeah. You should Fulton everybody.
Yep.
People talking about the Fox engine in chat. Where'd that go? You live your life in 30 FPS. I live mine in 24.
You're a movie character.
I'm a movie character. Yes, I live it in 24. But I kind of forgot how we got on this Metal Gear. Oh, the Solid Snake question.
Yeah, it was a question.
And I kind of forget what we were talking about in general. But
here I can segue though. We did get a pretty interesting question about the generational exclusives. What Phil Spencer was saying about the Xbox Series X not having anything that are not going to be on Xbox One as well for the first year, at least, I think he was saying, or maybe it was first couple years. And people were flipping out at him over that. And I think that's a good move because I think it just means that Xbox Series X games are likely going to run very well because those are games that are designed to also be able to run on this generation, as opposed to going for those next-gen graphics that end up running at 30 frames a second because they spend tons of money trying to get impressive-looking screenshots. And yeah, so there's my segue.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to talk about IGN now. Fuck IGN, right? IGN got caught recently doing something pretty fucking shady, which isn't really a surprise, but this was like so blatant and so stupid. This is a Bounding into Comics article. There's Keanu and Robert Downey Jr. IGN Brazil uploads then deletes Mortal Kombat 11 celebrity deepfakes after being caught stealing footage and removing watermarks from videos recorded by YouTuber Baby Zone. I think that's supposed to be Scarlett Johansson. Or Gal. Maybe it's Gal.
Katana as...
No, that's Gal. Trust me. I know Gal when I see Gal.
So on February 7th, IGN Brazil uploaded a pair of videos showing famous skins in Mortal Kombat 11, which featured various celebrity appearances modded over existing characters in the game. Well, it turns out they did a really shitty job of trying to steal this content because they still left part of the fucking watermark on the video. So IGN, complete fucking incompetence.
Can't even steal properly.
It's like stealing footage at all is such a bad move, though. Like, because someone's going to notice almost immediately. Like the internet's
especially a company of their caliber. I mean, like,
well, exactly. And I think they have the mentality of we're too big to get caught on stuff like this. Also, I think someone's echoing. See if anyone's listening through speakers. I'm hearing myself twice. Just me. Anyways,
has it been happening the whole time, or did it just start happening?
No. I just started noticing it now. But
private chat. It's been there for a while.
Oh, okay. I just noticed now. Anyways, but if you notice, anytime I try to avoid whenever I can in my reviews using footage captured from anything other than me playing, and sometimes that ends up taking me way longer than it needs to. But anytime I ever do use someone else's footage, I always have a title card come up at the top left of the screen that says not only the name of the person whose footage it is, but the title of the video. And then I will often even put a link to that video in the description, especially if it's a clip, anything other than like a couple seconds of gameplay, because I don't think that anyone should ever have their footage just grabbed and used with zero credit. And it's kind of disgusting that a company like IGN would take something like this Mortal Kombat deepfake that obviously took a lot of effort. Like, this guy didn't just throw this together. Like, this Baby Zone guy took time to make this. And they
it's
just
like 3 weeks per each one.
Yeah, I know. Like, and then just they throw it up as if like, oh yeah, like you made this, I made this, like the meme.
I mean, look at that screen cap. You know, them trying to cut the watermark. Like, that's just. How did you not notice that?
Well, it tells you a couple things. One, they're extremely fucking incompetent because they didn't do it right. Two, the idea that they did try to crop it. So they knew that what they were doing was fucked up. Just the fact that they did do it. And then, again, added their watermark over top. Baby Zone puts this out. It's a shame. And now that I have headphones in, I kind of hear a slight echo. So I don't know what the fuck it is. It must be Ace because I heard it in Aces there. I don't fucking know. Lethal said it was me.
I'm muting and unmuting to see if it's me. I'm trying to see if you guys can figure out if it was me or not. So
whatever. I haven't seen too many complaints in chat, so I think we're okay. It's a shame to see IGN stealing my deep fake videos and trying to cut my watermark and then uploading to their Facebook pages and getting millions of views. So making a bunch of money without even taking my authorization. I spent 3 weeks in average to make each deep fake, and they just didn't bother and re-uploaded my videos without permission. I filed a DMCA takedown and Facebook protected them. If they stole a 500 subs channel content, I wonder how many smaller creators were stolen by IGN and none even noticed. What a shame. So we're used to DMCA takedowns over here. Evidently, he filed a DMCA takedown and nothing fucking happened. Nothing happened. Like, if Naughty Dog files one against this, I guarantee you this comes down in a fucking heartbeat. But nothing when someone whose content was actually stolen files a DMCA complaint. Facebook
Naughty Dog steals your content, YouTube or whoever be like, no, he didn't steal it. No, it's for use. It's for use. Like, you reverse the roles, and yep, you guys get banned.
Yeah.
Trash. IGN sucks. They can't
Well,
even
it's
steal
it's a 500
properly.
subscriber channel versus a millions of views website. Of course, they'd pick the millions of views people because what's 500 subscribers going to do to me? That's just the mindset that I can see him saying. I don't agree with it. It's
like because they would have had ads playing during this, right? So does the Baby Zone guy get the money for this?
No.
Nope, he gets it.
No, what happened
IGN gets it.
Yeah, so they deleted it, but they didn't say, hey, we'll give you the money. They just said, we're sorry this happened. We'll try to make sure it doesn't happen again.
They already banked all that money from all those views. Yeah.
There it is. There's Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, that frame rate is turning. Keanu!
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Keanu is Sub-Zero, though. We all know Keanu is Kenshi.
That's pretty good. It looks fucking damn good.
It is pretty good.
Exactly. Like, I mean, it's clear that Baby Zone put a crazy amount of effort into it.
Only be robbed by a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. Paulie D with another €2. Will you guys pre-order the PS5 and next Xbox?
Both.
I ain't gonna pre-order shit.
I'll probably get a PS5, but I won't pre-order it.
I might have to just so I can cover some of the launch games, but for PS5. But it's one thing I kind of like about what Microsoft's doing is that I know I'm going to be able to play the Xbox Series X games just on my PC. Like that, and that's not me saying, so it's useless to buy an Xbox Series X because I have a PC that can competently run games. And I think that if you don't and you're interested in stuff like the Halo games, then absolutely a Series X would probably be a good bet. But that's probably the reason I would purchase a PS5, but not a Series X.
Yeah, I'm not pre-ordering shit. I don't know how much this stuff's going to be. I don't know if I'm interested in buying a PS5. So
I'm pre-ordering the PlayStation, but waiting on the Xbox.
That being said, though, if Jeremy is like, okay, we have like someone else that's going to be covering the PS5 games, I'm not going to waste my money that early.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, what about this guy?
Well, and the thing is, it's not like
make some review videos and just submit them to Jeremy.
Yeah,
listen, it'd be one thing if PS5 was going to be like, all right, we're launching with Horizon Zero Dawn 2. We're launching with all this shit, but instead they're just launching with, oh look, I think the fucking Miles Morales DLC, basically, because that's what that game is going to be available. That's not enough to make me go out there and want to buy a PS5. It's just not. So
yeah, Miles Morales is also running at 30 frames a second, but there's more cars on the streets, guys. That's worth a next gen upgrade. And it's like, I don't care about the cars in the streets when I'm swinging through the skyscrapers.
What about the puddles on the ground? What if there was more?
Don't care about the puddles
Bring back
either.
Puddlegate. I was all for
Puddlegate.
Well, now they're like in the Digital Foundry video that they had the original Spider-Man PS4 running at 60 frames a second. They were saying that it looks like they have ray tracing reflections on the puddles. So it seems like there was someone that works in Insomniac that's just like, Puddlegate, I'm going to put ray tracing on these puddles and make them look real good. No one's going to meme on my puddles ever again. We're going to have the best puddles. It's going to have the best puddles.
I'm someone who loved the Spider-Man game. I mean, I kind of read up on what Puddlegate was, but I just didn't care. I loved that game.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really cared about the puddles. I think that was probably just people wanting to like find something to create controversy about in that game and be like, oh, downgrade. It's just like the game has like a daily clock and like a time of day system. And when you see the A to B of like, okay, that was clearly the first shots were midday and then the second shots were like mid-afternoon, and it makes the lighting look different. But
well, obviously they have such an incredible environmental system. No, they have an incredible environmental system. That puddle actually evaporated over time. That's how how incredible the Spider-Man PS4 game is.
I was promised puddles. I was not given my puddles.
Now, if it was Ubisoft, I'd say downgrade it absolutely because they have a history of it. But
well, I mean, like again, everyone knows like my harping on frame rate is kind of a meme at this point. But like that kind of prioritization of being like, we want to put like more traffic on the road, we want more pedestrians on the street, so this looks more like an immersive New York. Yeah, we're gonna have it running at 30 frames a second, but the point is it's gonna look more like a real city. I'll be like, okay, but me as a gamer playing the game, do I care about the civilian traffic in the city of New York, or do I care about how the game performs?
When the entire game is mostly about sound web sling, where you're not even going to see them.
There's games like right now I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 on like a fairly high-end PC. I can run it in 1080p and it runs really, really well. Or I could be like, oh, but I need to have this game in 4K running everything at ultra settings. And I could get the Icarus syndrome and just be like, I'm going to crank this thing up. And then I'm going to be getting maybe 30 frames a second. And I would make the choice to be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have the game running perfectly at 1080p at ultra settings, so it's still going to look really, really good. And it just bothers me that it seems like the new generation of systems is like, no, we want things to look really, really pretty, but run like crap. And it makes me sad.
I have to agree. Like next gen consoles, like 60 FPS is a must nowadays. I mean, I'm a Destiny player. 30 FPS sucks.
Well, at least Destiny has. Terrible. I'll give them credit. Destiny has Bungie has said that they're going to have the PS5 and Series X versions running at 60, which is good.
Right.
Good
and
on
they
you,
need
Bungie.
to.
Because man, that game looks a lot better at 60.
Especially if they do go out the whole crossplay, console versus PC thing. Can you imagine a console 30 FPS going against a PC 120 plus FPS? That would
depending on the level of aim assist, auto rifles still might be pretty handy with the controller.
I think with the FPS, they have a huge advantage with just the FPS alone.
You don't need to convince me of that.
Pauly D for €5 says, are you slightly worried Cyberpunk 2077 can't meet the weight of the expectations? Witcher 3 felt like a one-of-a-kind success. I
am worried about that.
It's so hyped, and everybody's in fucking love with it right now. So there is a lot of pressure for them to live up to these expectations. I think the game's going to be awesome. But I wouldn't say I'm afraid or worried, but it is in the back of my mind for sure. I think that I'm really going to enjoy it. But I do think that there might be a letdown from the general audience. What do you guys think?
I'm fully on board with what you said. Like I'm confident it'll be great, but the expectations is just through the roof. But I feel most people will be okay if the game is great. What a high standard. Great.
Yeah.
I think worried is not the word I would use. I think that everyone should be realistic about what the game actually will deliver. And I think that if you have decent expectations going in, like expecting a solid game with a bunch of freedom of choice, with an open world that is dynamic, that you can approach situations in many different ways, and in which most things will run at least fairly well and feel pretty good to play. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think that, speaking of No Man's Sky, again behind Ace's head, the biggest problem that game I think had is that there were tons of people. I remember being in gaming groups where people are like, the whole gaming industry is going to change when No Man's Sky comes out. Nothing's ever going to be the same. That game is going to change everything. And I'm seeing a lot of people say that about Cyberpunk, and I'm a huge fan of CD Projekt Red. I love The Witcher 3. I think it's an amazing game. I even love The Witcher 2, even though that's a less amazing game, even though it's still good and you should play it. But I like, my expectations of what Cyberpunk is going to be, I think, are pretty reasonable. And I think what was funny is actually I got some heat in the comment section of the Night City Wire recap that I did, when there were people that were basically dumping on me, reiterating skill ups concerns with things like the melee combat. And even though I have a big disclaimer at the bottom of the screen saying these are skill ups observations, not my own, because I was just basically regurgitating what he said, crediting him as well. And like, my biggest concern with the people that were getting mad at me for displaying those, like, guys, I'm really excited about the game and I think it's going to be great, but I'm not going to just be like, no, the sword combat in the game is going to be perfect. It's going to be amazing because it's Cyberpunk and it's going to be great. It's like, no, it's probably there's going to be aspects of it that are clunky, because it's a very ambitious RPG, and those are the breaks. Sometimes when you have those many balls in the air and you're juggling them, every so often you're going to drop one or two or fumble one and not look super graceful. But if overall the whole package ends up turning out very well, I don't think it'll be disappointing. So I wouldn't say I'm worried, but I also think that people should be reasonable about what they're expecting from the game. And then that way they can be pleasantly surprised instead of slightly disappointed, you know?
Yeah, nothing's gonna be fucking perfect, and the idea that like those kind of comments from those fanboys, the same shit we're getting from like fucking Last of Us 2 people in our videos. We're like, how dare you say this game's a masterpiece? There's nothing wrong with it. Everything's perfect. Well, fuck you. And you're just gonna have people like that with any game. But yeah, what do you think, Ace?
So I'm cautiously optimistic, I think is the best way to put it. With overhyped games in the past, it has always been like, a lot of times they have been a letdown. Mark put it out, No Man's Sky, prime example. So after like a couple Assassin's Creed that I was looking forward to ended up being Watch Dogs, another good one. So nowadays, like Destiny 2, another one, vanilla sucked at that one. So these games like that are really, really overhyped. I expect the worst, but hope for the best. That's my opinion. So I'd rather be proven wrong than right when it comes to that. If that makes any sense, you know, that's just me. I cautiously optimistic is the best way to put it.
Blue-eyed Scorpio asking if Miles Morales has any sidekicks. So if he has any like AIDS or anything.
AIDS would is what he means. I hope.
Interesting. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for Cyberpunk. I think a lot of us are. We'll see how it goes. But the big ones in my mind, we got Ghost coming up, and then we got Cyberpunk. I can't really think of anything I'm super excited about in between there. Can you guys?
I'm not super excited. I think there might be one or two that I'm interested in, but I wouldn't say I'm super excited for anything apart from them two.
I'm super excited for Horizon Zero Dawn too. Horizon Zero Dawn is my favorite game right now, next to God of War. I'm hoping it doesn't pull a Last of Us. Gorilla, don't do this to me. I swear to God.
I will die. I will fucking die if they pull that shit.
If they pull that shit, yes, like you have, like I have a huge.
At least 2021 though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's that's the only game that I'm really looking forward to, and the new Resident Evil. But it's Horizon Zero Dawn is the only, like, nothing coming up, but damn, if they ruin Horizon, I'm gonna be so
on
pissed.
PC in August 6th, release date announced.
What's that?
I think it's 6th. I might be getting that wrong. I even made a video on it, but Horizon Zero Dawn is coming out on PC.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like on PC. There's so many Sony fanboys are like, "How dare you switch it to PC? What about us? It was exclusive for us." I'm like, shut up. I mean, like, this game deserves to have more people play it. I mean, you had 3 or 4 years of playing it. Like, I mean, damn, share the wealth, you pricks.
I'm okay with it making it not exclusive once, like, now that we're on a new console. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, to me,
I
that
say
seems
put
like
it
a
on
pretty
Xbox
fair
too.
Well, to me, that seems like a pretty fair trade-off. You know, like, okay, well, this game was a PS4 exclusive, and PS4 is ending. We're have a new console coming out, and now we're making this available for everyone. What that could do is make a lot more people play and be like, wow, fuck, I want to play the next one. I'm gonna buy a PS5 just to play this game. So I think you could see that happening.
Yeah, and I hope that sets a precedent because, man, I would love for there to be a PC version of God of War, even if it's just to get people hyped up for God of War 2 or 5, whatever they decide to call it. God of War Ragnarok. But God of War Norse Mythology 2 will probably be a PS5 exclusive. And I think if they release a PC version of that about a year before the new God of War comes out, it will generate more interest in the franchise, get some PC players to maybe buy a PS5 if they want to play it right away, or give them the inkling that, okay, maybe if I wait a few years, this game will come to PC. I liked it, I'll buy it then. And I don't know, options. Give people options. It's always good.
Yeah. Well, we also have this to talk about, guys. Sony made an investment the other day. Sony buys $250 million stake in Fortnite creator Epic Games. The investment gives Sony a 1.4% stake in Epic, which is not a lot. Mark had a little bit of theory about what that kind of a number could mean that we'll get to in a second, but let's take a look at this. Sony has made a $250 million investment in Epic Games. The two companies announced on Thursday. Gives Sony that 1.4% interest in the game development studio, and it gives Epic a valuation of $17.86 billion. Now, keep in mind that several years ago, Tencent, Epic has a notable outside investor in Tencent, which invested $330 million in 2012 to get them a 40% stake. Obviously, that has proven to be a very good investment. Now they have 40% of a $17 billion company, which is insane. What do you guys make of this, interesting turn of events that Sony is, now has a little bit of a stake in Epic Games?
This one's all you, Mark.
Yeah, Mark, this is all you, man. You had it.
I thought we were going to close with me. Okay, so I think it's interesting, and it's also interesting in what this could mean for the prospect of PC ports of Sony first-party games like God of War or Horizon. But, for example, Horizon for sure is coming out on both Epic Games Store and Steam. So they're definitely not throwing all their cards in with Epic right now. As a person who personally boycotts the Epic Store until they knock off their own exclusivity nonsense, it would be bad news for me if Sony decided to not release their games on Steam if they're bringing them to PC. But the interesting thing is figuring out which piece of the pie Sony was cutting out of for that 1.4% stake. It's interesting that it said 40% because I remember reading, I would have to double check that. I'm going to assume that Verge probably fact checked this, but I thought that Epic had 49% Tencent had 49% of Epic, and that Tim Sweeney is Chris Reagan's sidekick. Sorry, Tim Sweeney owned 51% stake. So he was the majority stakeholder, which basically was the thing that ensured that Tencent wouldn't be able to call the shots at Epic in any way. Oh yeah, see there it says Tencent snatched 48.4% of Epic Games. I thought that was the number. 1.4 brings that closer to 50% not being owned by Tim Sweeney. And the interesting thing about that is theoretically Sony and Tencent could at that point decide to hostile take over Epic. And I'm not a huge fan of Tim Sweeney, but at the same time, I don't really like the idea of a Chinese mega corporation taking the business away from an American entrepreneur. Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of veering into politics. And as I always say, I try to not weigh in on political issues very much, but it's interesting to say the least. Who knows what it'll mean? It might just be an investment. It could just ultimately just mean a bit more cash in Sony's pocket, which going into a new generation of consoles will probably help them. but I don't think it's going to mean much other than you might see like Kratos and Aloy skins in Fortnite sometime soon.
Yeah.
So like, this is what it says. This is why it's a little bit confusing. Tencent made a minority investment, purchasing 48.4% of outstanding shares of stock, equating to 40% of the total Epic capital, inclusive of both stock and employee stock options. So 48% of what was available to buy, they bought.
Was 40% of the company, but Tim Sweeney probably still owns a controlling interest. Okay, so then that's less likely to happen. But again, I'm not like a business analyst. I just know things about video games. So
yeah, this fucking weird picture right here. I don't know why
that's Unreal Engine test footage.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy. But that is one thing to note too. We just saw, Sony and Epic partner for that Unreal Engine 5 demonstration. So maybe that had a little bit with this. Maybe that has a little something to do with this as well. But an interesting idea that Sony is making a push into Epic Games, as small as it may seem to be. Maybe it could mean something to the future and what we see in the future with any collaboration between them. Maybe eventually Fortnite will be a PS5 exclusive.
Isildur's Bane has a good point here that it might actually be Sony Pictures, like their movie studio, spearheading that investment to use Unreal Engine to do real-time engine graphics for movies. Because apparently I didn't realize Into the Spider-Verse was made with the Unreal Engine, which makes me think, like, man, I would really like to see a 60 frame. Well, that's the thing. I was like, I would like to see a 60 FPS version of Into the Spider-Verse because I thought the stuttery frame rate was the weird.
You can't even watch movies unless it's in 60 frames per second.
No, man, I can, but I just think the movie would look better if it wasn't. I would like to see a real-time file of that movie running better because I thought the animation looked good, but it was jittery. But the kind of more obvious use for geeks and gamers fans for Unreal Engine in a movie would be, or not a movie technically, in Mandalorian, that they had that kind of volume where it was like a parabolic screen that wrapped around the actors and it was real-time rendering CGI that was made in Unreal Engine. That was most of the Mandalorian was 100% filmed indoors. So all those outdoor areas were like the Unreal Engine rendering a landscape in real time so that the actors could even see it. And they might be trying to use more of that that type of technique to make their movies.
That's interesting.
And so, yeah, well, thank Isildur's Bane for bringing that one up because I did not think of that.
God, I fucking hate it. Why does my computer do that? It's running in a different FPS than it's supposed to be. That's why it's flickering like that. All right. I think that was Adam Silver. Yes, I think it was Adam Silver. Now, I told you guys we have a little bit of Nintendo news. Now, this stupid Nintendo's Treehouse, whatever, fucking Paper Mario, the Origami King. I don't give a fuck about this game, all right? I don't know why anyone would want to play Paper Mario. I don't really fucking get it. But if it's your deal, go for it. This was, we'll play a little bit of it.
Hello, and welcome to Nintendo Treehouse Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. And
these cringe people talking about Nintendo.
Holly's at CD Projekt where she belongs, Lethal.
On the wall, and then
she belongs over here with me.
Right. So this guy's playing it. Nice helmet. Yeah, nice helmet, bro. This guy's playing a little bit of Paper Mario. But then they say something here at the end, and I wanted to listen to it because I don't even know why I fucking watched this thing. Why did I watch this? Because I don't care about it. But they say something at the end that I wanted you to hear, and then we'll look at the end for what it could mean for something Jeremy probably would really like. Let's see what they say.
And as we head out, we're going to play the announcement trailer one more time for those of you who might have missed it. And also, the announcement trailer does a really good job of highlighting some of the various environments that this adventure will take you that we couldn't hope to show you in just a single Treehouse Live segment. So stay tuned for that. And right up and coming up, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new game. So stick around. Thanks, everyone.
Right. So they say that, and this is literally right before this thing ends. Let's see what it is. So they play this.
2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the time code.
Right. And this is right. They said we're going to take a look at a brand new game. Right. Where is it? Here it is. Hold on. Paper Mario Origami King, that's the end of their trailer. So only a couple seconds left. This is what is at the end. After they said getting a look at a brand new game, this is what is at the end.
That's relaxing.
Yeah, they're really milking the screen. Oh.
Huh. There's something you don't see every day. He certainly looks intimidating. Is he battling something?
Right.
So, Paper Samus confirmed.
Slightly more than the initial Metroid Prime 4 reveal trailer, which was actually slightly less. But that was moving. It wasn't just a logo.
So another hint at Metroid Prime. There's no fucking good reason why I should be the one who knows this. Why I should be the one who figured this out. Why didn't Jeremy fucking tell us about this shit? You know goddamn well he watched this dumbass Treehouse live presentation.
He's busy living it up with Tugs and Drunk 3PO at Universal Studios right now.
They actually just went live.
Yep. They did go live. We're going to send them your way after we're done here. But it sure looks like it sure looks like they're going to drop another hint about this. I don't know. There's the Park Hoppin' stream. Thank you, Lethal. But did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about or really address before we get going?
Not really.
Yeah, we touched on all my stuff.
Yep, same.
All right. Well, what have you guys been playing this week? We'll start with Lethal.
What have I been playing? Not a whole lot this week, actually. This week's been pretty slow and boring. Battlefront with you and Twisted. A bit by myself. A bit of Call of Duty, a bit of Soul Calibur, and a little bit of Kill the Kill If, but very little of everything.
Yeah, me too. I haven't been playing too much lately. What about you, Ace? What have you been up to?
This week it's been I did the new Minecraft Nether update. I've been playing Minecraft a lot. Yeah, I'm a Minecraft dude. And just Destiny still. I mean, trying to level up, trying to get that cap before I can start playing something else. I have a few single player games I want to get to again, or Horizon being one of them. So yeah, just mostly just Minecraft and Destiny, to be honest with you.
Minecraft and Destiny, nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark?
I've actually had a pretty eventful week. I've pushed a little bit further into Red Dead Redemption 2, but last night, Curse of the Moon 2 came out, so the kind of Castlevania-esque 8-bit style game, his sequel came out, and it's been quite good so far. I also got an alpha key for Proteus, which is a first-person shooter I kickstarted. Sadly, I am not allowed to make a video on it or share any screenshots, but it's very Doom-like. It's very good. I look forward to when they start making a bigger marketing push and I can start sharing that stuff, but keep it on your radar for sure. And I am almost at the end of Trails to Azure, which is that Japanese role-playing game that never came out here. So I've had to play a patched English translation, and I'm in the final dungeon of it now. I'm hoping to finish it up before my big move, so I don't have to worry about my save file getting lost in the move if like something happens to my hard drive, because there's no cloud saves on a hacked game from China. Yeah, then I'll finally actually be able to move on to Trails of Cold Steel, which is the sort of popular era of that series that's currently releasing in North America. And it's been amazing so far. I strongly recommend the Trails games. They're very, very good.
I saw them in the shop. They're actually on sale. I was thinking about picking one up, but just bad timing.
You could start at Trails of Cold Steel 1. I started with Trails in the Sky. There's 3 of those. Then there's Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure, which are like the ones that never came out here, that follow a different set of characters. And then the third set of characters are the Trails of Cold Steel games. Trails of Cold Steel 3 is like the Infinity War that kind of brings a lot of the characters together. And 4 is apparently the end game. But I'm 4 games away from those.
We're in the end game now.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, that sounds good. I've been playing Battlefront with Lethal a lot. I don't know why. Mostly because so we can do Emperor Palpatine voices. We're like, Lord Vader, you did not give her, or she did not give you consent. Do not touch her.
She said no.
She said no. Yeah, that's basically what we've been doing as we're playing Battlefront. That game's kind of fucking dead. But I've been playing that. Probably play a little more Horizon Zero Dawn. Oh, I played SWOTOR. I played SWOTOR the other day, so that was
you know that was me, right? With the whole Geeks and Gamers.
I know it was you after you said it in the chat. I didn't know who it was. I just see Geeks and Gamers Ahsoka, and some fucking Ahsoka looking bitch comes up next to me and wants to fight, and I'm like, I'm gonna get wrecked, and then he just jumped around and didn't even hit me. So it was nice. He gave me an easy win in a duel.
Because I had one of those because I've played that game for years. I haven't played in a while, but it was off and on for a while. But I have like on the East Coast server, I have like 15 characters. But I had one of those free level 70 plus boosts because if I had started fresh, I'd go through Korriban, that'd catch up to you on Drone and Cost. I'm like, you know what, screw it. So finally, I just made a level 70, got like a couple hundred credits, fast traveled to Drome and Cost. I'm like, where's Ryan?
Nice. That's awesome. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Not too much, but we are going to send you guys over to Park Hoppin'. So I'm putting the link in chat right now for the Park Hoppin' stream. Make sure you guys go there, show Jeremy and Drunk and Tugs some love. But that's all for us this week. Jeremy should be back this week. Mark will be back in his new fucking apartment or whatever. He'll have a new room next week, so that should be fun as well. But for Lethal, Mark, and our special guest, Ace of Aces, thank you guys so much for being here and joining us this week on the Game with Geeks podcast. We'll be back here next time, same place, and we will talk to you later. Peace.
Ooh.